So like I said yesterday, we're going to continue talking about the kites today. This is a swallow-tailed kite. Yesterday we talked about the Mississippi kite. Today we're going to talk about the swallow-tailed kite. So this is our swallow-tailed kite. His name is Tux because it always looks like he's wearing a little bit of a tuxedo with that white chest. And then he's got those black coloration on his wings. And so it kind of looks like he's always wearing a little tuxedo. And so we named him Tux. Now, swallow-tailed kites are, again, another type of kite that is found here in Alabama. Now, like I said yesterday, they're more of a coastal bird. We've seen them as far north as Alexander City, but really they're going to be found on the coastal areas. And they are also a migratory species, and so again, we don't have them year-round. In the winter, they'll migrate further south, and then in the summertime, they'll come up and spend some time with us. And then really lots of it is in Florida. That's a really common place that you can see swallow-tailed kites. Now, these birds get that name kites because, you know, when they're flying around, they're very buoyant. So the toy kite was actually named after them. Because the way they fly around, they've got really big, wide wings, and they're just very buoyant up in the sky, just kind of bouncing around with the wind, letting it blow them around. And then again, all that time they're spending in the air, they're catching and looking for those insects, like I said, dragonflies or crickets, grasshoppers, whatever it might be. That's what they're going to be trying to catch and eat. Plus, again, they'll be catching other things. They're opportunistic, and so they'll catch mice and all sorts of stuff. But really, kites specialize in the insects. Now, they get that name swallow-tailed kite because they've got really short tail feathers in the middle that go really long on the outside edge. And so they've got that swallow to their tail. Short feathers in the middle, long feathers on the outside edge. I was hoping filming this in his enclosure, he might talk to us because he's actually a very talkative one of our permanent residents, one of our ambassadors. But I don't know if he's going to talk for us or not. I would have thought he would have said something by now. These birds have those iridescent feathers, and so when the sun hits them just right, some of those black feathers kind of look a little blue, maybe a little purple. So it varies a little bit because of that iridescent coloration on their feathers. So you can kind of see some of it looks a little dark, some of it looks gray, some of it's purple up at the top. But that's just those iridescent coloration. You can see that really big, wide wingspan that he has. And he doesn't weigh much at all. He's about 100 grams heavier than that Mississippi kite. And so he weighs in at about 430 grams. So not too much at all. Very lightweight coastal species of raptors for the most part. Like I said, we've seen them further north, but they do like to spend a lot of time on the coast. Now, Tux here is with us because he actually was found, and he's got pellets in him. Probably shotgun pellets that weren't able to be removed. And so someone illegally shot this bird. I don't know why people would like to shoot raptors, but it actually does happen a lot, especially bald eagles are being shot a lot. And so he's actually still got some pellets in him. I'll put one of his radiographs into this video so you can kind of see those pellets that are in him. Now, of course, that is against federal law. All these birds are protected by the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. And so you can't shoot them, you can't own feathers from them, you can't harass them. You know, all you can do is kind of look up in the sky and enjoy them, which is all you really need to be doing. You don't need to be shooting them or taking their feathers or anything like that. Even if you find a feather on the ground, you have to leave it because there's no way that you can prove that you found it on the ground. If you get a really beautiful swallow-tailed kite feather or a blue jay or a cardinal or mockingbird, it doesn't matter really what bird. If you get a really beautiful feather and I want one, there's a really easy way for me to get lots of feathers, and that's by shooting the bird. And so to prevent the demand for those feathers, nobody can have them. And so this bird was shot illegally. Probably will never know who did it, but he does still have those shotgun pellets in him. Since he's been with us, our veterinarians have actually discovered that he also has a little bit of a heart problem. And so he's actually on medication for that heart problem. He's going to do a little stretch right there. He is stretching his wings behind his back. So not only does he have those shotgun pellets that couldn't be removed from him, but he also has a little bit of a heart problem, so he's on medication for that. But he does very well on those meds, and we're hopeful that he'll live a long, long life with us. So that's a little bit about the swallow-tailed kite. Keep your eyes out for them, especially if you're in the coastal areas, or if you ever go to Florida. You can see these a lot of times. I've got family in Florida, and whenever I visit them, I can see these swallow-tailed kites flying around. And so they're a really neat bird to see. I love seeing them flying around in Florida. Huge wingspan, so you can fairly easily recognize them because it's a big wingspan, but it's not very broad like those red-tailed hawks. Their wingspan isn't really wide, but it is very long. And so that's a little bit about the swallow-tailed kite. Thanks for tuning in. Keep watching these videos. Keep sharing them. Hopefully everyone's staying safe, washing your hands. War Eagle.